Hey guys, welcome back. So we are in full-on summertime mode. I have no idea where the season of spring went, but next thing you know, I blinked and it is 90 degrees. It is the 4th of July. It is summer vacation and all of that good stuff. So to mark the occasion, I thought it would be fun to center this month's Cozy Up To series all about summer vacation, summery themes. And so by that I mean things that you would typically think of when it comes to summertime activities, things you might do on vacation. So I've got a handful of books. Hopefully you guys find them helpful, but as usual, please let me know in the comments if you have read any of these before, and I guess just what your go-to summer or beach read is. You'll see by this list I didn't just focus on like beachy stuff, but things that I typically associate with summer. But let me know in the comments what you typically associate with summer, whether that is traveling, whether that's hibernating. I don't know about you, but living here in Georgia where it gets 90 degrees and humid, I hibernate in the summer times. So I tend to do a lot of my escapism via books, and hence this list. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So the first recommendation that I have for you guys is themed around bikes. I don't know about you, but I typically associate, biking, whether that's on the boardwalk or through the neighborhood, with summertime activities. And so this first book is called Geared for the Grave, and it takes place on Mackinac Island. It is about a woman named Evie who goes there to help out her, I think, father's boss, or maybe her boss's father, one of those two things. But she goes to the island to help him out at his bike shop, and by bikes I mean bicycles, not motorcycles. And one of the patrons who is well known throughout the island ends up being murdered. Her boss ends up being accused for the murder, and so of course she wants to help clear his name, not only to help him out but to keep her job as well. This one has, I believe, 3 books in this series, and like I said, it centers around this bike shop. And I think it's a really good addition to maybe your summertime lineup, because summertime is usually the time associated with, like I said, biking and just overall outdoorsy activities. So this next book I'm really excited about because I'm actually in the middle of reading it, and I chose it because of its outdoorsy hiking aspects. Again, I feel like summertime, depending on where you are, is the perfect time for all of those outdoorsy adventures, hiking, being on trails and all of that. So the name of the book is Scene of the Climb. This one is by dyer-seeley. You may also know her as Ellie Alexander, another favorite cozy mystery author of mine. But this one actually takes place in the Pacific Northwest, and it is about a recent journalism grad who gets a job for an outdoor adventure type magazine. The only problem is she's not very outdoorsy. She fudged her resume, I'm sure we all have at some point, in order to get the job. So her first assignment, she's actually thrown into the field, and it is involving some pretty rigorous hiking. And while she is up in the mountains, she sees somebody being thrown off of a cliff. And so between this being her job and also her kind of background skills as an investigative journalist, she feels compelled to check it out. I'm really excited about this one for a couple of reasons. Again, like I mentioned, the author is a pen name for Ellie Alexander, whose books I absolutely adore, her Bake Shop Mysteries, and then also because of the hiking kind of outdoorsy vibes. I associate camping with summertime. That is something that I did a lot growing up, and so to kind of live vicariously through these sets of books is something that I take great joy in, especially these days. My next suggestion revolves around RVs. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have been on this weird RV craze. I have no plans to get an RV. I have no plans to get a tiny house. However, watching shows where people are doing both of those things are like this weird joy that I get out of it, and so this next book is right up my alley. I definitely associate RVs with summertime activities, just because that was all the rage back in the day, where families would rent an RV and essentially travel cross country throughout the summer. So the name of the book is Beaches, Bungalows, and Burglaries, and is the first book in the Campers and Criminals series. And as soon as I saw the description of this, I knew I had to get it right away. It is about a woman who lives a pretty lavish lifestyle. However, her husband ends up being sent to jail for fraud, and she loses everything. The only thing that she has left is some RV park in the middle of nowhere. At least it's the middle of nowhere for her. And so she packs up what little belongings she has left and moves to the campsite. Now, this whole, at least the first book, gives me Schitt's Creek vibes, if you know what what I mean? Just in terms of not having anything and being left some kind of like inn or RV park or whatever. But needless to say, I'm really excited about this one because I have a feeling that there are going to be a lot of hijinks involved. And again, it's definitely perfect for summertime because of those like road tripping adventures. Now, I haven't read the whole series, so I'm not sure how much traveling there is. However, you are getting your RV fix. Now, for you adventure types, this next one is all about rafting, which again is something that I associate with summertime. It has been years, admittedly, since I've been whitewater rafting, and it just brings back so many fond memories, which is why I had to add this one to the list. But the name of the book is called Deadly Currents, and this is part of the Rocky Mountain Outdoor Mystery series. This one is about a river ranger who is out and about, and somebody ends up going under and drowning during a whitewater rafting accident. The only issue is they weren't actually killed by the currents or drowning or anything. They were actually poisoned. So of course there's a little bit of like trickery, a foul, and it is up to our heroine to help, you know, solve the case, even though technically she's not a police officer. But again, because she's a river ranger and it took place, you know, basically where she works, she wants to get to the bottom of it. Okay, so for those of you who may not be the outdoorsy type, which trust me, I totally get it, this next book or this next series might actually be for you because it just centers around travel in general. More specifically, a mother-daughter duo who are travel agents. As soon as I saw this one, I was definitely excited to read it, more so because I feel like travel agents have maybe become a thing of the past, or maybe there aren't as many anymore just because of like Airbnb and Google and people being able to book their trips themselves. However, I still think that this one is going to be a really fun series, which is why I wanted to add it to this list. The first book is called Toured to Death, and like I said, it features a mother-daughter duo who are travel agents. So when I was looking this book up, the clincher for me adding it to this list was finding out that the author of the series is actually the same guy who wrote and co-produced Monk, which, I mean, if you haven't seen Monk, then are you even a cozy mystery fan? I'm kidding, but seriously, this one I definitely would add to your list if you're trying to get kind of like your summertime travel vibes for sure. So this next series for you guys I added because it takes place at a beach resort. Now, don't get me wrong, summertime activities don't just have to be about like outdoorsy camping or hiking or stuff like that. Sometimes you just want to like chill by the beach, be pampered, have a cocktail. I get it. And so for that reason, I added the By the Sea series. The first book is called Death by the Sea. Now, this one is about a woman who returns to her hometown in Florida, and she helps her parents manage their inn. It is a seaside inn, and it's located in like a touristy part of town. And one of the guests, who's like this rich old lady, ends up being murdered. The issue is that naturally there are a lot of suspects because she was just not that nice and she was rich. So it's up to our heroine to solve the crime because of course her family's inn is on the line and she wants to make sure that their names are cleared of any implication. Okay, so there you go. I've given you guys a handful of maybe like summertime cozy mysteries. Now, granted, some of these, or rather all of these, can be read not during summertime, but these are just some of the activities that I associate with summer. Now, that goes anywhere from like chilling on the beach at a resort, to camping, to hiking, to whitewater rafting, all of that. So hopefully you found this list helpful. As usual, please let me know in the comments if you've read anything, or as I mentioned earlier, let me know maybe like what you like to do during the summer and if there are any books associated with it. I'm always interested, especially these days since your typical summer vacation looks a little differently. I know for sure I unfortunately haven't been able to go anywhere and it's really starting to affect me, but that's what we have books for. Oh my god, guys, it's hot and this summertime vlog is feeling a little bit too real.